I've wanted to create this video for some time, but there's always been a fear deep down within me around the backlash that it might cause or the comments that I might get. But I'm just at a point now where I'm sick and tired of what I'm seeing out there, and I want to talk about it. And that's that the personal development world, the self-help world, is fundamentally broken. By its very design, it simply keeps you, or continues to keep you stuck and feeling broken and not good enough. I'm tired of seeing the same old regurgitated advice around mindset, around affirmations, toxic positivity, raising your vibration, all of this stuff that somehow, if you practice it daily, in about 750,000 years, you'll finally be healed and feel good enough. So let me know if you're watching this, if you've tried the mindset advice, if you've tried positive affirmations, if you've tried the hustle, the grind, whatever it might be, you've tried all of that and it hasn't worked. And if that's the case, then I'm talking to you because I've been there. But I've thought long and hard about this. And the number one reason I'm making this video, and the number one reason I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, and I might rant, is because I've been there. I've been stuck. I felt like I'm not good enough, not worthy. And I got trapped in that perpetual cycle of self-help. So the real reason I'm making this is that you watch this and you resonate with this and you think, God, I'm not broken. It's just the advice out there that's broken. And if any point in this video it comes across like I'm trying to attack people, I'm really not. My issue is less with the people that push this advice, but just that the advice is so ubiquitous, so widespread, and so wrong. It's more about the industry being broken and trying to get the word, the truth out about what really helps, what's really going on for us, than anything else. And I really shouldn't record videos when I'm walking up hills because I'm out of breath. And something that I'm going to do throughout the rest of this video, if you watch to the end, is invite you to question me, to listen to what I have to say and think, does that feel true for me? Whatever I say, does that resonate? Whether it's just a tiny piece of you, whether you think that could be true but there's doubt, whether you think, well, hang on, this guy hasn't got many views, I don't know who he is, what does he have to offer? What does he know? Well, to answer that quickly, I've worked on myself for 15 years. I've been through cancer battles, self-worth battles, confidence issues, questioned whether I even deserve to or have the right to be on this planet. I've gone through all the self-help modalities out there, you name it, I've done it. Some were good, but none of them got to the true cause, the true issue of my pain, the true source of the pain. And for the last several years, I've been retraining as a developmental trauma therapist. So I know this stuff deeply. I know what works. And most importantly, I know what doesn't. Everything that's taught online, everything is a sticky plaster solution, a band-aid solution. It's like a leaky tap. Your tap's leaking, or your faucet. Faucet. We'll just tighten it more. But then over time, that might fix it immediately. You tighten that leaky tap a bit. And a few days later, it starts leaking again. You tighten it a little bit more, and it starts leaking. And then eventually, the whole seal will break, the tap will be knackered, you're gonna have to replace it. We can't replace you. But that's what's out there. It doesn't actually get to the source of the issue. Why is that tap leaking? Why do you feel broken? Why do you feel like you're not good enough? Why do you feel different to everyone else? Why is your self-worth so low? Why don't you feel confident? Why can't you speak up in meetings at work? Why do you always go for the same man, same woman? Why are all your relationships so destructive and volatile? Why are you so sensitive? Why can't you get in touch with your emotions? These are the questions that we need to ask. These are the things that we need to look at. And this is what we need to understand. What's really going on and how do we work through them? So let's say you come to me with a problem that you're struggling with, and I invite you to think of an issue that you're struggling with at the moment. And I say to you, thanks for sharing that with me. Why don't you just be positive? Why don't you be strong? Basically, why don't you just get on with it? Or I say, well, why don't you just write that down on a few post-it notes and shove it all over your house? Or I say, well, why don't you disconnect from yourself and your problems even more and go live in the spiritual realm? And again, I'm not saying this to mock, but those are generally the bits of advice that you'll get out there. Mindset shifts, etc. And you think, okay, I'll go away and do that. Thanks, John. But I guarantee you'd come back in a few weeks, months with the same problem. And you'd be like, oh, John, I'm really struggling with that thing that you told me to do. It's just not shifting that underlying, I still feel the same. And I'd set you off and do it again and again and again. And you'd get stuck. And over time, your self-worth would take a hit as well, because you'd be thinking, well, hang on, why? John keeps giving me this advice. It's great advice. And yet I can't, I must be broken. I must be like really rubbish. And then you get stuck in the shame cycle, beating yourself up even more. So now you have the initial problem that you came to me with, coupled with your own shame. And then you keep coming back, or you just give up altogether and decide that you're broken, live the rest of your life unhappy, unfulfilled and miserable. Or you come to me with this problem and I say, wow, okay, how does that feel? And you say, well, not nice. It makes me feel horrible. It makes me feel crap. And I get you to explore that. I get you to explore the emotions, the feelings, the sensations that are going on within you. Because that is the crux of the work. These feelings of not being good enough, not being confident, low self-worth, are things that you learn from a very early age. You weren't welcomed into this world beautifully as you are. And before you think, oh, John's about to get all woo-woo on me. No, we're talking about nervous system stuff, trapped emotions in your very biology, your bones, every fibre of your being. This stuff gets trapped and you disconnect from it because it's too painful. So you carry with you into your adult life that you aren't good enough. Think about how many times as a child you were told you were too much or not enough, scolded for just being you or exploring. So you split from who you are. You learn what makes your parents happy. You learn what gets you love and approval. And we carry that into adult life. But somewhere underneath, there's this energy, and this energy that comes up. That's your life energy that wants to explode into the world. But the shame keeps you stuck. You've still got those old patterns. So that's what we need to explore. That nervous system stuff. We need to go to some pretty scary places. And remember my invitation to you earlier. Does this make sense? Does this resonate? What I'm saying now, does that make more sense than me saying, well, just be positive, just fix your mindset, just push through it, just get up at 5 a.m. every day and get on with it? Which feels more true for you? Which feels more authentic? Which feels like it might actually get you unstuck? But equally, which feels more painful? Which feels harder? Which feels scary? To go digging around in those emotions and feelings that you've suppressed for likely decades of your life. But that's the work. And that's why there are no quick fixes to any of this stuff. And that's why I'm so pissed off at the self-help world. Again, yes, it's well-meaning. So much of it is well-meaning. And people do believe a lot of the time that this stuff will help them, but have they actually worked through it? I mentioned before, I was crippled by shyness. I had no confidence, and I tried the mindset stuff. I really tried, and it just made me feel, I don't want to say, well, no, I will say it. It made me feel like I don't want to be here anymore because I'm so broken and flawed. What's the point of me being here? This existence is too painful. And if you're here listening to me, maybe that resonates. But it isn't true. It's just that what I was listening to, what I was consuming, what I was watching all the live long day was wrong. So wrong and so destructive. Until I finally met who is now my teacher, Gaia Polini, who is a wonderful, I don't know what to call her, healer, therapist, guide, that I started to see that I'm not broken. The advice out there is broken, but I just need to reconnect, get in touch with these emotions and feelings that weren't allowed, weren't okay when I was a child. I've buried, and then explore them, and then slowly, gradually release. There are no quick fixes with this stuff. I'm going to climb over a stile and try and fall. There are no quick fixes. I promise you that. We can have huge, powerful shifts, but we're like onions. We strip away one layer. And I'm saying this to be honest. I don't want to make promises that aren't true. We strip away one layer and we think we're done with something. You think about things in the world that trigger you, and then it triggers you again, but a little bit less and less each time. I feel like this video is going to be terrible, but I really needed to speak it. I really needed to say it, because you are not broken. You are not broken. You've just not found the right modality, piece of work, person to help guide you through this stuff, to help release those blocked, trapped emotions, and to make you see that you're not actually broken. That stuff that you hate the most, the stuff that you're avoiding, is actually stuff that you almost, they're parts of you. I hated my shyness. I hated so many things about me, but now I've integrated them, I've accepted them. They were just beautifully who I was, but that wasn't okay for my mum. She wasn't okay with my shyness. In her mind, that made people think because I was shy that she was a terrible mum. And this stuff isn't about blame, but it makes us realise where it comes from. I feel I've waffled on so much, but I hope if you take one thing away from this, it's that you're not broken. And the advice out there is pretty crap. And if I'm not convinced you with this, then watch this video next. It's another one of me wandering around in fields ranting. Big love. Have a beautiful day. You're not broken.